Hello, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Welcome to Behind the Magic, a podcast out of Aradia's closet where we dive deeper into the components of magic. Today, I'm with my friend Steven. Hey, Steven, how you doing?
Good. I like your socks.
Oh, thanks. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Love Tim Burton. So we are diving into his library 10 books at a time, and we will go ahead and jump right into the first book, purchased for $1, paperback book, The Dennis Wheatley Library of the Occult, Satanism and Witches, selected by Dennis Wheatley. It has essays and stories by Robert Graves, Aleister Crowley, Benvenuto Cellini, Margaret Murray, Dennis Wheatley, Sax Rohmer, and many more.
All right, this is Dennis Wheatley. For those of you who don't know, Dennis Wheatley was a hack writer in the 50s and 60s who churned out all kinds of nonsense on magic and witchcraft. He wound up with a horror movie. The Devil Rides Out was one of them that was turned into a movie by Hammer Horror, of all folks. It's an amusing film. This is a very, very good collection of essays and stories by Robert Graves, Aleister Crowley, Benvenuto Cellini, Margaret Murray, Dennis Wheatley. Yeah. Not a favorite writer of mine. This is a nice little collection. It's got all kinds of stuff in here about stories about magic and witchcraft, outright rituals taken from the ancient grimoires. It's a small paperback. I probably purchased this at Halsey's Book Index on, I think, Navy Boulevard and Warrington Road.
Yeah, it was there
like
forever. It's a laundromat now.
Yeah, is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, $1. One of the best investments I ever made. First published in Great Britain by Sphere Books Limited, 1974. Yep.
That's
1974.
old.
I was a junior in high school.
That's the year before I was born.
Oh my gosh. Why do I talk to you?
I'm an old soul.
Yeah, I'll say. Yep, this has got a lot of good collection of stories, historical incidents like the Lancashire Witches, fiction, The Witch Bader, The Spell of Witchcraft by P.T. Barnum. Does that ring a bell, folks?
P.T. Barnum.
P.T. Barnum,
wow.
Indeed. There's another charlatan, Cotton Mather, The Trial of the New England Witches. For those of you who don't know, Cotton Mather was a witchfinder general, self-appointed, and he was a nasty bit of business. He rounded up a lot of innocent women and had them murdered for witchcraft. Nasty bit of business.
Goodness.
Yes, indeed. So, yep, I'm betting you'll never find that on Amazon.
No, I don't think you will. Our next book is another paperback book. It's the Witches Workbook by Anne Grimary. It says, now you can harness the immense powers of witchcraft. Use this book with care. And it was put out by Pocket Books in 1973.
Yep, this is a strange little book. I probably bought it around the time that it was first published. It's got, I'm going to read from the back cover because it's important to get a general idea of what this book is about. The early Puritans gave witchcraft a bad name, linking it with all manner of crimes and melodramatic pacts with the devil. Subsequent generations simply tried to ignore it altogether. But modern science has proved that what people all over the world have known for centuries, that the supernatural is in fact perfectly natural, that occult forces can be powerful tools for good as well as evil. The symbols, tools, and techniques in this book may seem strange and exotic to you, but bear in mind that they come down to us from many different civilizations, societies which, though less advanced technologically than ours, understood the ways of the spirit world much better than we do. Use this book with care, with awe, with love. Blessed be.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that nice? So this has got a lot of stuff with the Theban alphabet, preparation of magic tools for the consecration.
The Theban alphabet is the first I learned before I learned Norse runes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Good job.
And then alchemy.
Crudely illustrated by the author, I suggest. I would. That's pretty awful, isn't it? That's not good art.
Gets his point across.
Yeah. Is it a he?
She.
No, it's Anne. Anne Gramry. Yeah, she's got a little piece in here about witch jewels, the components of a magic witch rosary. Ooh. Moonstone, hematite, crystal quartz, earthstone, lapis lazuli, amber, birthstone, ankh, Nice. Very nice indeed.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that.
Yes. Naughty, naughty, naughty. No, it's a line drawing of a topless woman with an ankh around her neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Formulas and rituals.
It's a reinforcement ritual. Oh, here's what we need right here. The Rich Witch.
Yes.
For the Rich Witch, the possibility exists of installing a rug with a 9-foot circle woven into the design. 2 inner circles indicated too. The Very Rich Witch might have the floor inlaid with magic circles, but if so, he must be sure they look different from each other by candlelight, otherwise he might step blithely out of his inland 9-foot circle thinking it was the 8-foot one. There is truth in the rhyme that says, 2 witches disdain to wear glasses while making some magical passes. They tripped and they fell, and a demon from hell turned them into 2 nearsighted asses. That's pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's the Witches Workbook by Anne Grammer. Again, probably out of print now.
Yeah, it's got a wonderful cover. It's very trippy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go with another paperback. Darker Than You Think by Jack Williamson. It says, it is the time for the witch folk to rise and claim their ancient heritage of power. And this was put out in 1948 by Dell Publishing Company.
I'm sorry to say I never actually got around to actually reading this. It does look very good. I'm going to read from the back cover to get a general idea of what this is about. The eternal evil. Professor Mundrick brought proof of it from the depths of Asia, but something silenced him forever before he could reveal it. Mundrick's wife and his 3 disciples carried on his crusade, but something brought ghastly death to 3 of them and branded the 4th a murderer. Newsman Will Barbie was dreadfully afraid that he knew what the something was, and that he was a part of it. A supremely crafted novel of horror and occult suspense, Darker Than You Think, is fantasy in the classic mold of Unknown magazine, in which it first appeared. This edition features the original interior illustrations by renowned Ed Cartier, whose work always adds some extra dimension of enjoyment.
It looks like a science fiction book.
It's science fiction, definitely, straight up. It really is. It's all about the witch cult and how it might grow. But he was getting tired. I believe I own this because the author was getting tired of the idea of selling witchcraft to middle-class folks. Right? Which involved a lot of, and it harm none, do as you will. Because we know that might be nice for today and everything, but we certainly know that medieval witches did not feel that way.
No.
And they certainly did not. But I'm betting this one's still probably in print.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah, we'll check it out. But again, never really read this. It's one of those things I bought. It's in good condition for a paperback too.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good paperback collection. My initial library started with a handful of paperbacks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so our next book here is interesting. It's The Mad Pranks and Merry Jests of Robin Goodfellow, commonly called Hobgoblin, full of honest mirth and is a fit medicine for the melancholy. There's a preface by Thomas Cayley, edited by James H. Banner. So this one's interesting because...
No, we're leaving out something, my friend.
What?
Look at that original publishing date.
1628.
1628,
yeah.
Indeed. Can you imagine?
1628.
Right.
And then this book, this printing, this binding, I'm going to talk about here in just a second, but it's put out in 2004 by Trident Books. So, but I wanted to talk about this pamphlet that fell out.
Mm-hmm.
Ars
Obscura.
Ars Obscura, Bookbinding and Restoration.
Yes, they will restore your old occult books for a reasonable price.
Yeah, it says we offer a one-stop, full-service bindery, restoration, blank journal, box, and publication shop.
Ars Obscura.
Ars Obscura. Okay.
Anyway, on to Robin Goodfellow. This is a book published by Ars Obscura. And it's all these stories about Robin Goodfellow's mad pranks and merry jests. It's as it says in the introduction, a fit cure for melancholia, or what we used to call the blues. This is a library edition. It's limited to 250 numbered copies, of which this is number 31. The paper used in this publication meets the minimum requirements of the American National Standard for Information Scientists Permanence of paper for printed library materials. 1997. But this is an excellent little book on. It's great stories about pranks and jests that Robin Goodfellow would get up to. They're passed along from village to village, that sort of thing. He's kind of a nature spirit. He's the green man. He's the wild hunt. A lot of different things to different people. And let's read a bit of this story, okay? Robin Goodfellow was going over a field, met with a clownish fellow, to whom he spake in this manner. Friend, quoth he, what is a clock? A thing, answered the clown, that shows the time of the day. Why then, said Robin Goodfellow, be thou a clock, and tell me what time of day it is. I owe thee not so much service, answered he again, but because thou shalt think thyself beholden to me, know that it is the same time of the day as it was yesterday at this time. These cross answers hurt Robin Goodfellow, so that in himself he vowed to be avenged of him, which he did in this manner. Robin Goodfellow turned himself into a bird, and followed this fellow, who was going into a field a little from that place to catch a horse that was at grass. The horse, being wild, ran over dyke and hedge, and the fellow after, but to little purpose, for the horse was too swift for him. Robin was glad of this occasion, for now or never was the time to put his revenge in action.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have to concentrate.
Right. Presently Robin shaped himself like unto the horse, that the fellow followed, and so stood before the fellow. Presently the fellow took hold of him. With a stumble he hurled the churlish clown to the ground, that he almost broke his neck. Yet took he not this for sufficient revenge, for the cross answers he had received, but stood still, and let the fellow mount him once more. And the way the fellow was to ride was a great splash of water and of good depth, though this must of necessity ride. No sooner was he in the midst of it, but Robin Goodfellow fell him with nothing but a pack of saddle betwixt his legs, and in the shape of a fish, swam to the shore, and ran away laughing, ho, 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 leaving the poor fellow almost drowned.
Wow.
Robin Goodfellow. His mad pranks and merry jests. Nice book, huh?
It's a nice book. It's a pretty book.
It is.
What would this binding be called?
I'm not sure. You can look inside and have a look. I don't think it's leather.
No. Leather-like. All right, on to our next book. Zuni Fetishes by Frank Hamilton Cushing. And this particular one is the 10th printing in 1994 by Facsimile Editions.
I used to work at one of the malls, or both the malls, at one time or another. And that was great, because that's when malls still had bookstores. They don't have bookstores anymore, which is gravely unfortunate. But this is a collection of Zuni charms, talismans, that sort of thing. It's a work of, I should say, anthropology, right?
Yeah.
Definitely a work of anthropology. It's illustrated with various symbols and images of what are called fetishes of the various regions. Nice little collection. It's not something I ever actually read.
It's a reference book.
It's a reference book. It had awful discount sticker on it. And it's
messed up the cover.
Yeah, messed up the cover a bit.
That's a shame.
That is a shame, isn't it? Oh, well. $3. What are you going to do?
Right? It's a nice one for the library.
Yep.
Our next book, Paschal Beverly Randolph, is a 19th century Black American spiritualist, Rosicrucian, and sex magician.
Yeah.
Okay, so this book is about him, and it was written by John Patrick Devaney, put out by State University of New York Press in 1997.
This is a very rare book. It's a trade paperback, but it's still very, very rare. All of Paschal Beverly Randolph stuff is hard to come by. Really, really is. I'm glad I own this. He was a legend. The guy was a magician, both practical and spiritually. I think I originally learned of him dealing with Lucky Mojo products. LuckyMojo.com for those who don't know. And this is not advertising. I'm not getting paid or anything. But it's a great resource for Southern Conjure, Hoodoo, people, the Shakers, the people behind it, the greats. And certainly Paschal Beverly Randolph was one of the greats of spiritualist magic, Rosicrucian, sex magician. It's got lots and lots of interesting stuff on.
That looks like a lot of reading.
It is a lot of reading. But look how far I got. All right.
A little more than halfway.
Yeah, I did. A lot of this reference stuff, though. But yeah, great little book. Glad I own it. It deserves another visit. So I'll probably
peruse it again.
Yeah, so I'll most certainly peruse that again.
Okay, our next book, Egyptian Religion by Sir Wallace Budge, late keeper of the Egyptian and Assyrian antiquities in the British Museum. Here are the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians concerning life and death, resurrection, and future life. Their 6,000-year-old religion stands second to none. This was put out by the Library of Magical Arts and republished by a couple of different publishing companies. This particular version, third printing by First Carol Publishing in 1991.
Yeah, it's a safe bet that I have the hardback original of this. It says Citadel Press, but that's clearly the mark of University Books.
Right.
University Books was a great publisher that republished a lot of great occult works by A.E. Waite, Eliphas Levi, possibly Blavatsky. I'm not sure, I can't remember. But this is the death and resurrection mysteries of the birth of Osiris, fundamental to understanding the rise of the savior religions. He was a reasonably learned Egyptologist. He got a few things wrong, but for the most part, he did a really good job of putting information out of there. This is probably some of the stuff to read. Yep. Oh no. Tales of Lovecraft.
More
Lovecraft mythos.
Yes. More Lovecraft.
God.
Edited by Robert M. Price with a preface by Robert Bloch.
Yep.
So this is a Del Rey book published by the Ballantine Publishing Company in 1992.
Yep, I was on a Lovecraft spree for quite a minute there. At that time, I owned 2 hardback copies. I think I still own 2 hardback copies of the Necronomicon. But yeah, I got really involved in reading Lovecraft and authors that influenced him. So this is a collection of other people, not necessarily Lovecraft, but those who, his followers. There were writers who contributed to the Cthulhu mythos. Mr. Lovecraft had quite a writer circle around him.
Quite a following.
Yes, quite a following indeed. These are actually stories that are written by his followers. Just weird fiction. It's a collection. It's nice. It's in good condition, too.
It is, definitely.
Yep.
So here we have another Call of Cthulhu fiction. It's a collection of books. This one is the Complete Pegana, all the tales pertaining to the fabulous realm of Pegana by Lord
Dunsany. Now, he was actually an influence on H.P. Lovecraft. He was one of the great Gothic writers back in the day. So this is probably going to be someone that influenced H.P. Lovecraft, preceded him by quite a minute.
This was edited and introduced by S.J. Joshi.
Yes, Joshi was an excellent editor back in the day, still is. He really knows how to put a volume together. He knows how to bring everything together, all the stories and that sort of thing, so they fit for an overall pattern. He's very good about that. He has quite a reputation in the publishing world.
Well, this volume was put out in 1998. It includes The Gods
of Pegana,
Time and the Gods, and Beyond the Fields We Know.
Right. So this is a collection of Lord Dunsany's work, and it's an influence on the Cthulhu mythos that H.P. Lovecraft relied on. This was probably in his grandfather's library, which was quite vast. H.P. had access to these sorts of writers, and that's what the stuff influenced him. Pegana. All the tales pertain to the fabulous realm of Pegana, the Complete Pegana.
So now we're going to round out our 10th book of the day, and also, coincidentally, our 100th book of our podcast.
Awesome.
We're going to round that out with some more Cthulhu-looking stuff here. This is Best of Weird Tales, edited by John Betancourt. Copyright 1995. Barnes & Nobles, the publishing company?
Yep. All right. Well, Best of Weird Tales is a collection of weird tales from the magazine Weird Tales. H.P. Lovecraft's writings turned up in Weird Tales in the 1930s, maybe 1920s, 30s, that sort of thing. So it's a collection of, again, all the writers that influenced H.P. Lovecraft or came after him and wrote in the style of H.P. Lovecraft. Good stuff here with Brian Lumley, F. Paul Wilson, Nancy Springer. Let's see, Ian Watson. So here's some of the, from the back of the book. This is, again, a collection of sort of a greatest hits of Weird Tales, the magazine that was in publication in the 1930s. I think they came back, too, sometime in the 90s and tried to put together some horror collections. Blake looked at the pinwheel cookie in the palm of his hand, and it started to turn, and he saw now. Of course, it was a hex sign, after all, of the most potent kind, not just in size, but in grain. Hex the core. Why had he not seen it so before? They were all swirl hexes, symbols of transformation. He looked at the cat, at the soul deep black slits in its golden eyes. Grandmother? Its eyes were hex signs that spun before him, yellow and black, then changing, all the many colors of magic circling in a kaleidoscope symmetry. Cat eyes had taken over his world. They were as big as the sky, older and more powerful than stars or stripes, and they saw through him with hex magic and the power of his own aspirations. Was he in fact a hex witch, or was he the victim of his mother's lifelong plan? He looked at her and saw instead the Grecian girl of his dreams. From Snickerdoodles by Nancy Springer. That's just a taste of what you'll find inside the hardcover version of The Best of Weird Tales.
With this awesome Cthulhu creature on the cover.
Yeah, and that amazingly rendered. Yes, that's scary. I don't know why I didn't put that in broad art.
Right, well, you have a whole package of it. You can go around to it.
I know, right?
It's right there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, maybe I'll do that right away. I want to leave out that little paperback book, the one we started out with first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to take a look at a couple of those.
Yeah,
yes, for sure.
Got some really good stuff in there.
So with that wraps up our 10th and 100th book of our podcast. Thanks so much for joining us again today, guys. Thank you,
Be here
Stephen.
for the 200th.
Yay. Bye.